All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Dr. Medic channel. My name's Justin. It's April 3rd, 2023 in the morning, and I'm sure a bunch of you heard last night, and if you didn't, maybe you woke up to it to find out that there was another medevac crash, this time happening down in kind of in central Alabama. Super early. We don't know much, but I just want to share with you what we do know, and we can go from there.
We start with breaking news out of Shelby County. 2 people are dead after a medical helicopter crash near Highway 280. LifeSaver confirms the helicopter was landing when the accident happened. The crew on board was LifeSaver Crew 4 out of Sylacauga.
So this incident happened down in Shelby County, Alabama. This was with a community-based service, helicopter air ambulance service owned and operated by Airmethods under the local name of Alabama LifeSaver. Now, LifeSaver shows that they have 3 bases. They had one in Sylacauga, which is the accident helicopter for what we're talking about. In Evergreen was another one, and then another one in Cussita. And their website shows that they have at least some 407s in their fleet. And you see some pictures here, some pretty cool 407s. But the accident aircraft was a Eurocopter EC130 T2 model. So it's got a turbomecha engine made in 2014. The new ones are obviously manufactured by Airbus, but this was an original EC130 T2. There were 3 crew members on board, a pilot and 2 medical crew members. I don't know the makeup of the crew. But there was one fatality at the scene. 2 of them were transported to the hospital, and one of them was pronounced dead at the hospital. So presumably they were working one of the patients in a cardiac arrest of some sort, and were unable to resuscitate that person. So one person died at the hospital, and the other, from what I understand, is still alive. The weather that last night was, from what I could find, was pretty clear. The temperature was in the 50s or 60s. There was calm winds out of the south at just 1 or 2 miles an hour. Clear skies. Humidity in the high 60s, and it took place around 17-20 hours local time. And so if we just take a look at a map of where this took place, this was at LifeSaver, call sign LifeSaver 4, which is based out of the Sylacauga Municipal Airport, and it just looks like a regular community-based air ambulance. You got a nice living quarters and a really nice hangar and pad there with, it looks like they probably got some refueling there as well. So that's where this crew was based out of. And it does look like that's where they were when they received this call. And they received a call to transport a request to pick up a patient up here in the Shelby County area, right about where this address is of 2514 Bear Creek Road, in this hilly area of sorts. And so I don't know whether or not there was ground EMS or what, but nonetheless, there was a hiker. You can tell, it's a hilly area right there in the middle of that Shelby County, and probably a cool place to hang out outdoors. And there was a hiker who was complaining of some respiratory issues, some chest pain, some shortness of breath. And for one reason or another, they requested LifeSaver 4 to come and pick up the patient directly from the scene and transport the patient to the hospital. And so if we take a look at the ADS-B data, you can ignore this bottom leg here, but where you see the helicopter going is obviously the leg that they're on, and you can tell it looks, it's a straight shot once they start with their transponder on, coming straight from the airport, from that Sylacauga airport. It's a straight shot up to their destination. It looked like they're flying at about 1,800 feet and flying around 120 knots. Doesn't seem like there's really any issues going on there. And so it seems pretty uneventful once they get up into this area, once they get up into this area. And so this is that Bear Creek Road, otherwise known as County Road 43 in that area. At least from a paramedic standpoint, it seems like this part looks pretty normal. It's an EC130 helicopter, or the pilot sits on the left, which is, kind of unique to that aircraft. And so when they do a reconnaissance flight, typically, at least in this aircraft, they're going to try to do it to the counterclockwise so the pilot can get a really good view. And this Rock Creek Road goes through those hills, and if you kind of look at the pictures, you can see it's pretty narrow road and pretty tall trees, and there's obviously going to be some power lines in there somewhere, and so who knows whether or not that played a role or not. But nonetheless, the aircraft is doing its reconnaissance flight, and everything seems okay. And it kind of looks like maybe it does another reconnaissance flight after it's probably in this one right here on the left, it's clearly descending, but then it seems to do another reconnaissance flight over here, and then I don't really know what to make of it after that. So if you're a pilot, it'd be pretty cool if you could what your interpretation was, at least of this part of it, because it kind of seems to lose. Obviously, it's getting down in the hills, and it's losing its connection with the receivers and stuff like that, or whatever's receiving its transponder and ADS-B data. And so I don't really know what to make of it past that. But nonetheless, the deputies were on scene, and they said that the crash happened during landing at their landing zone that the deputies themselves had set up. They said that it did catch fire, and that the deputies that were on scene were super quick to respond and to pull it. At least 2 people out. I don't know if they pulled everybody out, but they did everything they could to pull the crew members out of this aircraft. You can see that it obviously did catch on fire, whether or not that's a crash-resistant fuel tank issue or something else. I don't know. But the cool thing is, or I shouldn't say the cool thing, but at least the one thing that's on a positive note is that the aircraft was not consumed by fire, which, as you know, we've talked about so many times before with crash-resistant fuel tanks, especially on this type of aircraft. So whether or not that played a role in them being able to pull out those other couple crew members, I don't know. But the deputies also said that the fire department got on scene pretty quickly and was able to extinguish this fire, which that's also a good thing. And then whatever ground EMS would have shown up to transport those 2 patients, I'm sure they did everything that they could, and at least one person is still alive. So it sounds like this call is going to affect a lot of people. And so the only thing I can really else interpret from the picture is that unfortunately the aircraft is over on its left side, which be the pilot was probably definitely over on the left side, and so whether or not that affected anything, I don't know. But nonetheless, this is a super evolving situation. It just happened last night. I have absolutely no idea what caused this crash, other than that we know that it happened while landing at a landing zone, and whether or not that played a role in anything, I don't know. But my heart does go out to the crew and to the family and everybody at Alabama LifeSaver and everybody in Airmethods in general. I mean, I know it's a big company, but they feel it throughout. And everybody in the central Alabama area who probably knows this crew. I mean, I'm sure it's a super family-oriented area, and probably everybody knows everybody like they do in most of the rural parts of the country. And my heart goes out to all of them. So that's all we know for now. Hopefully, more news comes out quickly from the NTSB and some other stuff. And the one person who's still alive, we're all pulling for you, and we hope you make it. Until next time, be safe, hug your loved ones, and take care of each other. See you.